FPL is back and it has officially launched for the 25-25-26 season with a bunch of new rules. I've been away at a family wedding in Toronto and I'm currently recording from Miami, Florida, but we're back today. So in today's video, we'll be going through these new rules, what they mean, how they're going to be applied, and also my first draft, which may include the most exciting signing in Europe, in my opinion. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe. Let's get into it. What's up? It's FPL Vert, where arrows go green, and welcome back for another season. If you're new around here, we've had 5 top 100k finishes in the last 9 seasons, with the last 2 seasons actually my best ranks, so we're peaking at the right time as I started to create content. But yeah, we followed up a 389th finish with a top 25k finish, which puts me at a 2-year rank of 1,218 in the world, so that's why you should give me your time of day. Also, the 5th top 100k finish most recent season actually qualifies me for FPL Focal's Expert League. So that will be verified this season, so make sure you check that out. But in today's video, we'll be going through the new rules and also my current draft. So if you want to skip ahead to the final draft, it will be time-stamped. But I do recommend just listening in on what the new rules are and how it's going to impact the game this season. So the first new rule change of the season, and that's defensive contributions, also known as DEFCON within the community at the moment. And that's essentially that players will now earn points for defensive contributions. It will be capped at 2 points per match, but for every 10 clearances, blocks, interceptions and tackles CBIT that a defender makes in a game, they will receive DEFCON points. Midfielders and forwards can also earn DEFCON points, as it's for all outfield players. But as they're midfielders and forwards, and the recoveries will count for them as well, they require 12 of these. So that would be 12 clearances, blocks, interceptions, recoveries, and tackles. So recoveries will count as being first to a loose ball, starting a counter-attack, and also securing stable possession. So as it's capped at 2 points, it's not exactly a game breaker, but it's definitely a nice to have. So looking at the table from last season for the defenders, Tarkowski actually topped this metric if it counted last season, and there is actually someone in this list that's going to make my first draft due to the DEFCON and also his team's defense metrics. So it's definitely worth taking aware of, but it's not going to be a game breaker in my opinion. Probably the biggest change of this season is that there's going to be 2 sets of chips to use in each half of the season. So previously there was only the wildcard that would be on each half of the season, but we now will receive the bench boost, free hit and triple captain to use between game weeks 1 and 19, and you have to use them before Tuesday the 30th of December or it'll just go away. So definitely need to strategize how to best utilize this, and in my opinion I think this is a great change because you only get 1 chance to get the bench boost, free hit and triple captain previously, correct? And now there's a bit more of a leeway, so I definitely think that makes a game week 1 bench boost viable, especially as trying to navigate the bench boost with transfers is always usually a waste of time, and a lot of the time not really worth it as well. Of course, in the preseason we have unlimited transfers to just get the bench boost ready from the offset, so I'm probably looking at bench boost game 1 as well. You can also be a bit more punty with your triple captains because obviously you don't have just one option to use either. And then the free hit, of course, you can't play that in game week 1, and you also can't play it in back-to-back weeks. So probably looking at free hit of game week 6 when the big hitters are against each other. I think that's when Arsenal play Man City. So yeah, we'll be back with strategy on this one, but I think this is a great change. There's also not going to be an assistant manager chip this season, which is kind of a shame because it was kind of fun, but I guess it was a bit too variable as well to really make it a year-long thing. So that's the rule change on the chips. Another new change that should come with a fanfare of approval from the community is that fantasy assists are going to be awarded to the last action before goal. So whether that's a pass, a cross, a touch, a safe shot that leads to a rebounded goal, or winning a penalty or free kick that is converted, that player will receive the assist. So I'm sure you can relate to watching a goal and not being sure who's going to be awarded the assist. Well, that should be removed this season. There's just 2 stipulations. One is that the goal scorer receives the ball inside the penalty box before striking, and then there's just only one defensive touch before the ball arrives to the goal scorer as long as the defensive touch is not a back pass, for example. So, for instance, an example of this would be if someone was to put in a cross from open play or corner, and then there's like one headed clearance or an attempted clearance, and then the next touch is an attacking one that goes into the box, into the goal. The player that put in the cross would receive the assist. So definitely should remove the cloud of subjectivity and earn more points for everyone around the season. The next rule probably won't make too many changes for everyone, but there are changes to bonus points, the bonus point system anyway. So the goalkeeper saves will now be a bit nerfed, because of course there used to be a time that players will just launch strikes from outside the box and then goalkeepers will rack up saves on the bonus point system. But there's now going to be 3 BPS per save inside the box, 2 BPS per save outside the box, and then 8 BPS per penalty save. So previously it was 8 BPS per penalty save. So it's been left a little bit, but each penalty save will count as a save inside the box as well as the penalty save. So 11 BPS in total for a penalty save, but it's still down from 15 BPS previously, which is not the end of the world, but that's just the update. There's also going to be goal line clearances BPS, which I definitely think is a long time coming, because you're basically saving a goal. So anyone that clears a goal bound shot off the line will receive 9 BPS, which I think is a good change personally. And there's now going to be 12 BPS per penalty conversion across all the positions. Of course, all the different positions get different BPS for goals scored. I think forwards receive 24 BPS for goal, 18 for midfielder, 12 for defender. I need to fact check that one. But it's going to be 12 across the board for a penalty that is scored. And the tackle one is now 2 BPS as well, which is not going to make too much of a change really. But yeah, it's the net tackle one that's going to be given here. And another one of the big changes this year, of course, this season the African Cup of Nations will be taking place between the 21st of December and the 18th of January. So in FPL terms, that's between game week 17 and 22. But with most tournaments, players may want to leave early to link up with their camp, train a little bit before the tournament starts. So that'll usually be before game week 18. So FPL decided that they're going to reward all managers a up to 5 free transfers in game week 16 to navigate this transition, when in reality most people won't really own that many African Cup of Nations. So the way I'm interpreting this is basically getting a free 1 week punt in game week 15 and then getting 5 free transfers for no reason in game week 16. So we can definitely store those acorns for the winter and navigate the middle game weeks between like game weeks 20 and 30, which is usually a wildcard window, but we can maybe now delay that a little bit. So definitely use game week 15 as a 1 week punt, because even if you banked 1 free transfer, you'll get up to 5 free transfers in game week 16. If you banked 4 free transfers, you'd get just the 1 extra one to get up to 5. So that will be, of course, with everything in FPL, there will be a strategy attached to that, but I'm definitely looking to use all my transfers in game week 15 if possible. So into the team selection, the moment you've all been waiting for, or the point you just skipped to. We do have Rob Blob Sanchez in goal. I initially had GYÖKERES in my first draft, but I think there's a lot of better options in the premium defence price point. So seeing as Chelsea have amongst the best fixtures and have been posting top defensive data since the Easter break, only Man City, Aston Villa, Everton and Bournemouth have better XG against data. I do think we're just going to go with Sanchez, as we also want to do probably a game week 13 wildcard, so I don't really want to be using a transfer on goalkeepers. Next in the defence, we do have Gabriel Magalhaes, someone who's probably been a little bit underrated due to his injury, but of course I would rank him as the best defender in the game now that Trent has left, given that Arsenal have the best defence in the league and he's the biggest threat from set pieces in Europe, not even just in England. So I think it's a very easy pick, especially as we want to have a we want to probably wildcard around game week 13, so don't really want to be making defensive transfers. So Gabriel comes in straight away. The next pick in the defense is Murillo of Nottingham Forest. They do have the third best defensive contribution. Well, he had the third best defensive contributions, as I mentioned earlier, that someone in that list was going to make my squad, and that's going to be Murillo at Forest. They also kept 13 clean sheets last season, with only Liverpool keeping more. So I am actually expecting a little bit of regression, but it's good to have them in straight away. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's in as well, as he came in clutch for me at the end of the season with 3 assists in the final 4 league games, which was pretty good at 4.5. He actually helped me get some green arrows. Obviously, it wasn't a top 10k finish again, but we can take a 25k finish all day long. And I am thinking to currently bench boost as well. So we do actually have De Kuyper of Brighton. He's the new left back, as Stupinian has moved to AC Milan. Remember him? And he's a very attacking player. He's got 75 goal involvements in 220 club appearances. So, of course, we'll pay attention across pre-season, but De Kuyper is going to be on my bench in game week 1. As is Esri Konza, who kind of picks himself with his price point of 4.5, as well as Villa's fixtures. So that's an easy pick there. King Mo Salah has never blanked in game week 1 for Liverpool, and fresh off a record-breaking season where he scored 344 points, there's only ever going to be one option for my captain in game week 1. Next pick in midfield is Iliman Ndiaye of Everton. He was a forward last season and he's been reclassified as a midfielder this season. He also takes the penalties for Everton, so I think that's a great pick at his price of 6.5. And he actually scored 6 goals in 13 appearances between game weeks 22 and 38, which actually matches Salah and Haaland for goals per start at 0.6. He also racked up 172 recoveries last year, which means he would have gotten defensive contributions, DEFCON, on 6 occasions. Well, of course, we're not buying midfielders for DEFCON points, but it's a nice addition, obviously. Cole Palmer is a personal favourite, so there may be a little bit of bias, but Chelsea do have excellent fixtures, actually all the way up until game week 16, which is in December. So he's going to be a captain option. He'll for sure go up in price, and he's just an excellent player. We all saw what he did against PSG. He contributed to all 3 goals against the European champions. So yeah, we're going to have Palmer straight away. And he had a supposed down year last season by most people's opinion, but in FPL terms, only Salah and Mbeumo scored more points than him. So we're definitely expecting more from him, but he's still a player there. Spurs' new recruit Mohamed Kudus is in the team at the moment because of his price and also because Kulusevski is currently out. So less competition, and 26 goal involvements in 2 seasons at West Ham is okay. It's not amazing, but it's also not remarkable. But at that price, I think you're getting a good player. And of course, Burnley at home is a great home debut. And as we'll discuss, Thomas Frank loves to be a flat track bully with one more pick in this team. But the main event in my team selection this week is Victor Gyökeres. He's finally brought Arsenal's striker search to an end. The Swede returns to England, having swapped Coventry City for Sporting Lisbon, where he won the league in successive years, as well as the Portuguese Cup. He also netted an impressive 97 goals in 102 matches. So last season, Gyökeres was actually the European Golden Boot runner-up with 39 league goals, which is second only to Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid, who actually scored more goals than, but they counted for less due to the weighting system. Gyökeres also scored the most non-penalty league goals in the top 5 of the European Golden Boot ranks as well. So comparing his stats with Europe's top 10 leagues, Gyökeres ranked first for goals, goal involvements, XG, and conversion rate. So in many ways, he's exactly the player Arsenal have been searching for, having had to make do with makeshift forwards in Kai Havertz and Mikel Merino. And given his long journey to the Premier League, it appears his hard work and dedication should shoulder the responsibility and see him continue to flourish. So, being honest, I don't see him leaving my team unless he doesn't start against Tottenham in the, well, probably won't start, but he definitely will have a part to play. I honestly think he will be the best captain in game week 2 as he makes his home debut against Leeds. So the promoted sides face each other in that week, and Salah will be travelling to St James's Park. So I definitely think it's going to be Gyökeres or Saka captain in game week 2, maybe a triple captain. Danny Welbeck notched 9 goals in the first 9 game weeks last season before injury, and still managed to hit double digits in the single season for the first time ever in his career. And now that Joao Pedro has left for Chelsea, he should be on penalties and also be the main striker. So at his price, I think it's an easy pick. And last but not least, we do have Dominic Solanke, who will be hoping to benefit from Thomas Frank's attacking philosophy, as Brentford were the only team last season to have 3 players with more than 10 league goals in the league. So I do think, given that he loves to batter relegation sides at home, I think Burnley at home is a great place to start. So that's the team at the moment. Pop any questions you have into the comments, and give me a follow on Twitter and TikTok, as I'm going to be posting more to make up for the lack of content that we've had. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak soon. Bye bye.